Okay, what's up, everyone? Today I'm gonna be telling you guys a story, like my whole birth story, and I know you guys are probably like, Chloe, we saw your birth on TV, like, what else is there to know? But there was actually a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes, and then a lot of stuff that was filmed and never shown, and so I just want to talk about all of that, how it really went down, and not just like the cookie cutter TV version. So I went to the hospital about 2 or 3 times before I actually had Ava. One was false labor, the second time was just trying to get induced, and then the third time was I went the day before my induction to get like a pill that they give you. But basically, the camera crew, came down here on June 22nd to film my sister's birthday, the whole swimming with the dolphin scene. And normally, what happens during filming is they pick a week out of every month that you're going to be filming just to come down here. They only film you for like 3 to 4 days, and then they do interviews for the next 2 days. But they were down here on on June 22nd, obviously the week of the 22nd for my sister's birthday. But since everyone was convinced that I was going to have Ava early, because my mom had me early, my grandma had her kids early, my aunt had her kids early, we just all assumed that Ava was going to come early. Her due date was July 4th, so the crew was like, we're just going to stay from June 22nd to July 4th, which is a little bit longer than what we're supposed to, but we're just going to do it because we all think you're going to go into labor early, which did not happen. The first time I went was a few days before my due date. The doctor did everything she could to try and get me like dilated and everything, but obviously nothing worked. The second time I went, just because I thought I was having contractions and maybe thought I was going into labor, but I wasn't. And I remember the camera crew, they were waiting for me to get out of the hospital and be like, hey, I'm going into labor, but obviously that didn't happen. So whenever I got out, I remember I was crying and crying because I just wanted Ava to come out, and she wasn't, and I wasn't making any progress. And so they were like, hey, like, can we do like an interview with you? And I was literally crying, and I looked at them and I was like, no. Like, I was so upset that my doctor wouldn't induce me or that nothing was happening. And even on the car ride home, they were filming us in the car ride home back to my house, and literally nobody was talking. And they were on the walkie-talkie being like, can you guys talk about how the appointment went? And I was just crying because obviously I was upset. So that's why that wasn't shown, just because there was not a lot of talking. I was really upset and did not want to film. So the third time that I went to the hospital, it was exactly 6 days after my due date. So it was July 10th. And I went there to get this little like pill that they gave me to start the induction process. And I thought that once I did that, I was just going to be in the hospital, like in the labor room, but that didn't happen. Because they said it had to be exactly 7 days, like exactly a week after your due date for you to be induced fully. And it was only 6 days. So I literally left the hospital at like 11 and had to go back home for like 2 hours and then go back to the hospital, which was kind of stupid. But I mean, I guess if that's the rules, that's how it works. And honestly, before I continue, major shout out to my producer. I know we didn't get along a lot of the times, but she really was like there and like slept outside of our house in a van, like on call, waiting for my water to break for like a month. From June 22nd to July 11th, she was there. And so was the rest of the crew, but like she really wanted my water to break and she really wanted to capture it on film. So she literally slept outside of our house, which is crazy. And speaking of that, the camera crew was obviously not allowed to film in the hospital I gave birth at. So what we had to do was I could pick 3 guests that were allowed to be in there when I was having Ava. And we had to say that my producer was my cousin, I think we said she was, and that I wanted her in there. And then they said that we weren't allowed to film. So she had her iPhone and she was filming, obviously, like my birth, but she like kept tapping it to pretend like she was taking pictures, because they said you can take pictures but not videos. But obviously you saw the footage, like she took videos. So that was actually really funny. So after going home for 2 hours, I literally didn't sleep at all. I was gonna try and take a nap, but I was just too excited because I knew the second I went back to the hospital that this little one would be born. Throughout my whole pregnancy, all of the doctors, every doctor appointment I went to once it was closer to my due date, they all estimated that Ava was gonna be between 6 and 7 pounds. Even whenever I was in the hospital room, like in labor, they would film my stomach and be like, oh yeah, it's gonna be about 6 or 7 pounds, like kind of a smaller baby. And I was like, dope, I can do this. Obviously they were wrong because Ava was 9 pounds, 3 ounces, which is a very big baby. So I don't know how they even got that small of a measurement, but honestly, I'm glad they did, because if they would have told me, hey, you're gonna push out a 9-pound baby, I probably would have cried. So I was in labor for 16 hours, but I actively pushed for 50 minutes. And bye. I remember that there's a scene when I'm giving birth where I'm like, I can do it, right before Ava comes out. And that's because the nurses were telling me that Ava was gonna come in the next push, and because obviously I really, really wanted her out, they were like, you can wait for your next contraction or you can push now. And everyone was like, you should wait. And I was like, no, I can do it. So that's obviously why I said that. And I really love seeing that part of my birth vlog, or my birth vlog, my birth on TV. Like, that's my favorite part, is like hearing me be like, I can do it. For the epidural, I had every side effect that you could get from it. I had the shakes, I had itchiness, I had burning. My arm was burning so bad. I threw up, obviously, during labor. It was just all bad. And I still had one like small section in my lower stomach that was just sharp shooting pain. Everything else was numb. Like, my legs were numb, everything. But there was one small section in my stomach that was just like shooting pain, which is probably why I was being very dramatic and like crying and everything. But that's just how it goes. I wish I would have had a better birth. Like, I wish I wasn't so dramatic, but it is what it is. I remember after I had birth, obviously, we all know that I did not want to breastfeed. I'm sorry if you think that breastfed is best or whatever, but I didn't want to do it, just like personal choice. But because I'm a teen mom, everyone thinks that they could take advantage of me. So I remember my mom went outside of the room after I had had Ava to just like go tell my family members and everything. And the second my mom left, the nurses, they were like, all right, Chloe, you want to try and breastfeed? And I was like, oh no, like I have the bottles, because like it was like the bottles that you twist and then they're like good or whatever. And I was like, oh no, I'm good, I don't want to breastfeed. And they were like, just try. And I was like, no, like I don't want to. It's not that I can't, it's just that I don't want to. And they were like, no, like you should, like we'll help you. And I was like, So I was like, Mom! Like, I screamed my mom's name and she literally had to come running back in the room and be like, she's not breastfeeding. And then the nurses were like, oh, okay. But like, they didn't listen to me. Like, they were trying to get me to do it. And I was like, no. But also another thing that was pretty cool when I was giving birth was that there was this curtain, and all of my family members that were there, they were behind that curtain because the nurse said that she was like, you guys seem like such a good family. You guys just want to be in the room, like just behind the curtain and not see anything, like just listen, which was crazy. Like, you can actually see like my cousins hugging in the background, like behind the curtain, which is so funny to me. And then the interview that I had where I'm like, it's just so overwhelming and I'm like crying. That was like a week after Ava was born, I believe, because they still stayed for like another week after she was born. And we did interviews during that time. So I was very hormonal, and I knew that I was going to cry the second they asked me about the birth, because they were like, how does it feel that Ava's finally out and she's laying on your chest? And I was like, I'm gonna cry. And like, I literally sat there for like 5 minutes trying not to cry, and then I was like, just forget it. And then I just started bawling. I'm a little embarrassed about that footage, but I mean, I was hormonal, I was crying, get over it. One more thing, in case you're wondering why I did not do a reaction to Unexpected season 4 episode 2 or whatever, is because they had the What Now episode, and I was in that episode, or like the Where Are They Now thing, and I would rather stay silent and have people think that I'm the bad guy over a couple of lies if it means that I get to keep my life exactly the same way it is right now. If someone wants to lie and make themselves seem involved or that they care about Ava, then so be it. You can look like the good guy online, but I know what's real, and if I get to keep my life exactly the same way it is just so you can protect your reputation, then that's fine by me. I'll just sit back, and if I look like the bad guy, then so be it. I want to keep my life exactly the same way it is right now. So that's why I didn't react to it, and I probably won't ever. But yeah, Happy New Year. By the time you're watching this, it's 2021, so Happy New Year. I'll see you guys later. Bye.